Yo, 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 what it do? What's good? This your boy Fred the Jig. Y'all know what time it is. Let's talk this Orlando Magic. You know, that's what I love to do. Okay. Well, the topic of discussion that I want to get into today on Orlando is mainly about the not say rumor, the speculation going around that next year we would be interested in trying to see if we can pry Jordan Poole away from the Golden State Warriors. Now, I want to get into this and say Jordan Poole, I really like his ability. I really like his efficiency as a scorer. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the Magic's biggest problems is the people who we depend on to score the ball, how efficient are they and how efficient can they be, right? Okay. So we got Paulo to pretty much, you know what I mean, to take the burden of that, and we're expecting Paulo to be, you know, that number one pick, that centerfold piece, right? So when I look at people on our roster that have that ability to score, but the efficiency isn't up yet, the people I look at is and just maybe say the people I look at that got that ability but don't have the two-way ability, because the Magic is full of a lot of two-way players, right? So the person I would look for that is my main man, Cole Anthony. He's the player, him, and I know Jalen Suggs, it has been very inefficient in his first season, but his defense to me kind of gives him an anchor, you know what I mean? And I can watch his offense improve, whereas Cole Anthony is more of an offensive player who has offensive skill, but is still highly inefficient right now, right? So when I look at Jordan Poole and everybody saying next year, you know what I mean, with the speculation being next year, we have a lot of money, we can go and dump that money into Jordan Poole, and a lot of people are wondering, is he really worth the $25 million a year, $20 million a year, $30 million a year that we'll have to pay to pry him away from the Golden State? And who says we are able to pry him away from Golden State? Because I remember the big people I see that tried to make moves like that was, I think it was Portland back in the days when they wanted to get Paul Millsap from Utah, and it backfired on Portland. You know what I mean? With Utah signing them back regardless if it was too much. You seen it happen this year with DeAndre Ayton. Well, the Suns got their hopes up, and when they made a deal, instead of working with not the Suns, but the Pacers got their hopes up and went to go make a deal with DeAndre Ayton instead of working with the Suns on the sign and trade. Here, and I bring this up because I would like the Magic, if we do really like him, Poole, which I think we do. I think he's a hot name. He just won a championship ring. He was able to seem to be a leader, even coming off of the bench, and even to the point, such a good team player in his role and working in his role that Steph was able to just come off the bench for so long, you know what I mean? And just come in when needed. So I think we could definitely use a player like that knows his role, that can hit big shots, but also knows how to share in the spotlight with others. I believe Paolo has that same kind of ability. Okay, so what I'm really getting down to is what I want us to go next year and get Jordan Poole out of Fred's, sign him for the max we can, and see if we can make Golden State not match it, right? I'm just so afraid of that because, you know what I mean? Even if they don't match it, what if we overpay them? You know what I mean? And I know people like, man, you gotta play, you gotta spend this money somewhere, you gotta do this, and so I actually like this option better than the Donovan Mitchell option, and it has something to do with the couple the 2 or 3 years younger that he is. But not just that. I think that if Orlando Magic really want Poole, we should go now and work out a deal with Golden State to see if we can get Poole before this upcoming year or in the middle of this year, before the trade deadline. I know you haven't heard anybody say this yet, but I'm the type of person that like to get ahead of things, because if we're going to try to max him out or get him in free agency while he on restricted next year, our best bet is not to even wait till restricted free agency. Let's see if we can make a deal with Golden State now, give them a couple of players that young players that contracts up beyond this year here, to give them at least another year of, you know what I mean? Give them at least another year of not having to worry about paying everybody at the same time, taking somebody like Poole off of their hands. And what I think about this, I'm thinking maybe a Cole Anthony in this deal. You see what I'm saying? Cole Anthony, R.J. Hampton, and maybe a couple of first-round picks. And I'm not even talking the picks that we're going to get in this coming draft. Maybe we have to give one of the picks this year, but we still got the Denver 25th draft pick. We got theirs, and we got others that we can give up picks that don't have to be this coming year. So I say a couple first round picks, Cole Anthony, and R.J. Hampton. You know what I mean? And maybe they have to give us back at least one more person to match the salaries up. You know what I mean? And that'll give them a year break of having to sign people. And then that next year they have 2 more players like R.J. Hampton and Cole Anthony, you know what I mean, to keep building with and give them a chance to figure out what they're going to do with the top of their core. And we can take a chance on getting Jordan Poole the year before he hits the market, right? Now we have the restricted tag on him, and we can let him play with our team and see how much he's really worth to us. I think giving up those players and those picks wouldn't be too much for us to get a player that we really like and covet and want to see how they grow, and let them see how they grow with our team, and then determine how much we pay them based off of that. You see what I'm saying? And we could determine, make those trade offers, trade for him, and get him here and see how he plays with our team, and pay him based off of how he plays with us, rather than get him over there and still wonder if he's a system player. I don't think he's a system player, but the speculations are out there that he could be a system player, that he could be a Quinn Cook or something, like not become great, only a role player. You know what I mean? I actually see Poole as an elite scorer, and not too far behind Donovan Mitchell to me, especially with that burst out year. And I think this would be a good move for us, because we can determine whether he's a max money player on our team. Let's not determine if he guesses he went on a team that already got their main players. We need to try to get him over here beforehand. You know what I mean? See how he fits in our team and see if he's willing as a max player on our team. You know what I mean? We need to consolidate anyway. We got one too many players on our team. We got 16 on the main roster already. You know what I mean? So if we, like I said, can do a deal of a Cole Anthony, like I say, and an R.J. Hampton. You know what I mean? 2 people that got 2 more years on their contract. You know what I mean? Got 2 more years on their contract. Give them some flexibility as far as they have available bodies and good potential players, you know what I mean, without having to sign them to high, super expensive deals. And hey, Cole Anthony can fit in that Jordan Poole role, off the bench as a 6-man, you know what I mean? He's an offensive player first, and in that offense, I'm sure they'll be able to allow Cole Anthony to get have his efficiency come up, with more talented players around him and players that also can shoot as well. And with Jordan Poole for us, that'll give us another person who stretch the floor, make the defense play discipline, even though he might not be taking that shot. They know him for taking that shot. They know him for being in the championship. They know him for, you know what I mean? The big moments. And that's enough to give the spacing to Banchero that Banchero is going to need, and that Franz Wagner is going to need, and that Fultz is going to need. My only thing about this is if we do this to me puts us in the bind of I didn't want to tie up another starting slot so that when Isaac gets healthy, he can come back. But what this does for me is this put me in another decision mode, right? So say if we did do what I'm saying, say if we did give up a Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, and maybe 2 first-round picks. And maybe that's too much for a person on a 1-year deal. Maybe we give up a Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, and we give them a first, the Denver 2025 first pick, right? And give them a couple of second rounds. And say, hey, this is what we can give you. We taking a chance. We give you, you know what I mean, value back. And we'll see what they say. And maybe they have, like I say, have to throw another player in there to make the money match, and then we can release them or keep them as a veteran. You know what I mean? Whatever, we'll probably release them. Because we still have our 2 veterans, and we really needed to consolidate that one more position down at least. You know what I mean? So what this does for me is that, say if we do this, right, and say Isaac is playing wonderful, say Isaac is in his spare 20-minute games like they did folks last year, let's just use that model because that's how we seem to be doing things, being very cautious with our players, which I totally agree with. And if you want the best out of them, you got to do what's best for them. If it's best for to hold Isaac out for 2 years, that's what we got to do, because we need him to play at his best and not the like we don't want to be a disaster. We already got the contract in our favorability. You know what I mean? It's favorable for us because it's not guaranteed until the dates that come up, and I'm sure Isaac is going to meet those things that allow us to guarantee his contract. You know, let his contract be guaranteed for us not to cut him before that time. You know what I mean? And he's going to be worth every penny that we got. Actually, Isaac is worth more than what we're paying him. But, you know what I mean? That's why I want to keep him. So my thing is, if Isaac comes back, we trade for Jordan Poole, right? Jordan Poole playing wonderful with us next to Fultz. The perfect. Like, you know, Fultz is a good enough defender the way you can get a super talented big shot hitting guard next to him. You know what I mean? 3-point shooting, able to stretch the floor, deep range. We need that. The spacing, right? You get that, and then you get Franz with the cutting ability. You know what I mean? And you got Paolo with just being cerebral on the floor everywhere. He can post up, he can come up, he can go anywhere, right? So this gives us a real flexible lineup. You know, Wendell Carter at the center, we've seen him, like I say, he still has to prove the stability at what he's given us last year. We need to see him another year, like playing, you know what I mean, starting a lot of games and playing just like he played at the end of the season. I was thinking maybe once Jonathan Isaac gets back there, if he's there and you have to the point where you have to have Jonathan Isaac on the floor with Paolo, right? The way if he gets that good, then and Wendell doesn't live up to it, then Jonathan Isaac will move. It's a position I didn't want to do. Didn't want Isaac in. I'd rather him at the a power forward. But when we drafted Banchero, I said, okay, Isaac can go to the small forward because it's outside defensive ability plus his inside defensive ability allows Paolo to play where we can cover Paolo's weakness and maybe like he maybe not as strong as a perimeter defender. You know what I mean? So we can allow Isaac to do that. But with Franz Wagner at the 3, and if we did get Poole, right? Then I would go Bankero at the 4, and once Isaac gets healthy, and if he's like his inside defense is that good, his plus his outside defense is that good, him playing the center wouldn't be a bad option with Poole on our team. You know what I mean? With Poole on our team, keeping Isaac. You know what I mean? And Isaac playing the center position would actually be very, very, you know what I mean, switchable. You know what I mean? Everywhere switchable. And my only concern would be is, do we have enough rebounding on the floor? You know what I mean? Do we have enough rebounding between Isaac and Paolo? And that's what I need Paolo to show me this year. At the beginning of this year, when we playing, and yes, we need you to be that offensive scorer, but we also need you for stability. Can you be a consistent rebounder, a consistent passer like you've been doing? He showed, but if we can get him to be consistent rebounder and just, you know what I mean, a good defender, you know what I mean, that'll help. And if Isaac comes, and I say it's very explosive and it's back and it's like an impact player on the floor like he was before he left, then him at center, with Paolo at power forward is amazing. With Franz Wagner at the small forward is amazing. And then Jordan Poole, big shot creator at the 2 guard with folks, can get to his spots anytime. That will be worth a trade, and seeing how that goes this year, paying Poole, and then having Poole and we having him under restricted. You know what I mean? If anybody comes from, we seeing his value is that we can pay him. Now we know that we're not paying somebody money and that they don't fit or that they aren't who they are. So if I'm the Magic, I'm trying to see what they want for Poole, because they right now Golden State is in a predicament where, do we sign back Draymond Green to keep the team together? This predicament is about the same reason why they're involved in the KD sweepstakes, to where maybe we have to give up a Poole or Wiggins, you know what I mean? Maybe a JTA, or maybe a Wiseman. One of the two out of those two. You know what I mean? Do they have to give that up for a KD, so that they consolidate, and they got KD under contract. They got Steph. They got Klay Thompson under contract. Then they could go sign back Draymond Green, because they be like, all right, this is our small ball center, Draymond for sure, so we got to invest that money. We put Looney to the backup. You know what I mean? You put KD at the 4. You know what I mean? They could still make it work. They could still make it work with that. You know what I mean? They could still make it work with that combination by giving up those players. So if they might be into that type of sweepstakes and say they might not get KD in the running, but they might want to keep Wiggins over Poole, because the position value of Wiggins matters so much. You know what I mean? Yet Poole is the youngest, and keeping Poole with Wiseman or JTA would be great. You know what I mean? But are they really willing to move on from Draymond's stability on the defense? Plus, it's a passing ability. Can Wiseman come and take that? You know what I mean? It's a lot of moving things going on over there. A lot of they got to see what's going to shape what. Is Draymond Green really ready to move on? He did come out and say he wants a max contract. Is that something they're willing to do, or is that something they're not willing to do, and then they really want Poole? Or can we convince them that, hey, you can go and get your sweepstakes lineup. Hey, we'll take on Poole. You know what I mean? And we'll give you, like I said, Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, and some picks. Or maybe we get in on a 3-team trade where they do get KD and they do send people over there to the Nets, and maybe we end up shipping them Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, and they end up shipping them over there to, you know what I mean, over there to the Nets, and we get Jordan Poole over here. They get KD over there. Maybe we get in on something like that. That's the type of stuff I see the Magic should be involved in, seeing where we consolidate and get a prime talent at our need position, whether it's 2 guard. And I would really like that for our team, because to me, with the way Suggs played, he still has the potential to come out and bust out. And this isn't getting rid of Suggs. You see what I'm saying? I like Suggs. Me personally, I like Suggs over Cole Anthony just because he got a chance to do what Cole do on offense, plus do what he do on defense. You know what I mean? He just had a rocky first year, and we all know that he's a better shooter than what he shot last year and all the above. You know what I mean? So I expect a lot from out of Suggs this year, but having him as a backup plan behind Fultz sounds really nice. You know what I mean? Allow him to develop. No rush to get your shot to a superior level. Excuse me. Also, you could be the first one off the bench. Say if we got a hard defensive matchup at the 2 guard and Jordan Poole isn't able to handle that right then, or we switch Fultz on it and it's still a little much for Fultz, then we can switch Fultz back and then bring Jordan Poole to the bench and bring Suggs in to defend. You know what I mean? Or Suggs tired, Fultz tired, we bring Suggs in with a Poole combination, the Suggs and Poole, that super rangy shot versus with a defensive stalwart. You know what I mean? So it's I see it as working really nice for us. And then you still got Terrence Ross, you still got Gary Harris. You know what I mean? Sitting on the team. You know what I mean? You still got those kind of quality players on the bench that help fill the bench roles. And behind, if somebody get hurt, say if folks got hurt, or say if Suggs got hurt, and we still needed somebody to come, we still would have Devin Kennedy. You know what I mean? And Devin Kennedy with that 3-point range shot, him next to a Poole would be nice too. Like Longy, we gotta take our time. But if I'm the Magic, and if you really like him and want to invest money into him next season, and if you don't want to wait to the off season to see all right, I want to get him, but y'all said y'all gonna match everything. Just imagine if they gonna match it, right? Then what our job got to be there is, if we wait to the off season, is we gonna have to see if we can negotiate a sign and trade if they would give us. But rather than giving them another season to see how great he is, and maybe we'll have to give up more in the sign and trade, or we'll put the money in them in the off season, and then they bring them back and we just miss out. You know what I mean? The Knicks did it for a couple years. They just kept missing out. You know what I mean? They had the money and nobody came. You know what I mean? I would like for us, if we can try to compensate Golden State before they find out how great Poole is, and we can move on from a Cole Anthony and a R.J. Hampton. R.J. Hampton, somebody that we've seen, he might need a little bit longer to develop, or R.J. Hampton over at Golden State just been able to run the floor and play defense and hit threes from the corner. That might help him even more as a player and make him more useful on a team like that than on a team that we have. You know what I mean? And also the same thing goes for Cole Anthony. He'll be able to get more open shots and not have to do everything on his own for him to become a better player. And if that works for them, and Jordan Poole, a person that can hit big shots, even when he only one on the floor, you know what I mean? We could use that over here. We're willing to move on from Cole Anthony and R.J. Hampton and maybe a first in a couple seconds or 2 firsts, you know what I mean, to go with it, but not too pricey of a firsts. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna give up both firsts next year or nothing like that or cripple ourselves. You know, we can space it out, or we can go just give them years to come picks. You know what I mean? Because we still getting a player that's on 1 year that we're gonna have to pay if we pay back if we want them next year. So, you know what I mean? I think it's definitely worth a shot. Also, if, like I said, with Isaac, if Isaac shows he's that impact player, you put him at center, you put Paolo at the 4, you go Franz at the 3, you go Jordan Poole at the 2, you go Fultz at the 1, and off the bench you have Suggs come in at the 2 or the 1 position. You could also bring in with him Gary Harris or Terrence Ross, right? Or you could bring in, say, a Gary Harris and Terrence Ross. Or you could have a combination of a Suggs, a Harris, and a Caleb Houston out there at the same time. You know, or you could have a combination of a Suggs, a Harris, you know what I mean, an old Kiki, you know what I mean? So you could have a combination of a Suggs, a Harris, Caleb Houston, an Okiki, right? You can have a Bomber, or you know what I mean, or like with the bigs, if we did start Isaac at the center, then we have off the bench, we have a Mo Bamba and a Wendell Carter, who we got under contract at a good deal too. Remember, all our big time players right now under contract at a good deal, which is Isaac, Fultz, you know what I mean, and Wendell Carter, the people that we done already paid beyond their first contracts. You know what I mean? Besides Mo Bamba, then we still got them on team friendly deals for us. But all of them team friendly, but they're under team control. You know what I mean? Like Wendell Carter isn't under team control. Fultz isn't under team control, meaning they got a team option, and Isaac isn't under team control yet. They under regular contracts, standard contracts, which are good and under good paying contracts for us. So, like, say if Wendell Carter, right now he's our center, but if Isaac becomes the man again, then Wendell Carter still we ain't paying him so much that he can't come off the bench. You see what I'm saying? With Bamba, which was a combination we used last year, that would definitely work as a bench combination. You know what I mean? And behind them, you will have a Mo Wagner to fill in if anybody get hurt out of between them. You got the Paulo, the Isaac. You got then you have the Bamba with the Wendell Carter, and then you have a Mo Wagner deep under that fifth big, whether he is the coming at power forward or center. He would be a great intimidator to have at that spot, and I would like to keep Boy as the third small forward or the fourth small forward. You know what I mean? Him being that he can play small power forward. You know, he might can play some center, but he's still very frail. I'll say that. But I want to see us use their ability, and we got such a big clunk of players on our team that if we could consolidate two players down for one, and maybe we have to get another player back and then cut them, you know what I mean, from them, but we could consolidate our talent, like between Cole Anthony and RJ Hampton with a first or so. I think Jordan Poole can have enough talent in him of all that we'll be getting out. So I really think that'll be a good thing, something that we could consider doing. We don't have to do it. I'm still very okay with just riding out our season and seeing and watching to see if Suggs develops and becomes that two guard on his own. That's very good to find with me. It's just that Jordan Poole thing came up, and if we're gonna consider an offense juggernaut like that, you know what I mean, from what we seen last year. And I'm just thinking about last year, the improvement in him last year, him playing with Steph, him playing with Clay, him being trusted by the team, by Kerr, championship coach already, and then another championship. And him, the way he played, they helped them get that championship. He was a big part of that. That would be great. And I'm willing to risk a Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, a first and 2 seconds, or a couple of first round picks to get that kind of player on our team with that winning style and ability. You know what I mean? And already proven. I think that will help us a lot. So yeah, y'all, this is your boy Fred the G. Tune in, you know what it is, Orlando Magic every day. I ain't on every day, but when I'm on, I'm on. I'll catch y'all soon. Peace out.